Oh my golly, good gosh. Do we have on someone special today, Jack?
Mate, I'm buzzing with excitement. I'm vibrating. That's me.
It's me and you.
That's my
buzzing
love
with
ents.
excitement.
But anyway,
That's what? What did you say?
my love ents.
What's that?
Oh, you don't. Oh, it's all right.
Love ents.
Check out. We got a code in the description, by the way. You can sync
What
up.
is love ents? No, really.
Do you really want to do? Start the podcast with it? It's a sex toy. It's a sex.
Shut up! I'm talking.
Shut up, I'm talking. Shut up, I'm talking. Shut up, I'm talking. Shut up.
Guys, I have prepared a written intro, which I've never done before. Didn't do this for stupid Jacksepticeye, but I do it for you, all right? Quiet on set. Quiet. Ladies and gentlemen, today our guest is what we like...
Got to be inclusive.
Shush. Ladies and gentlemen, today our guest is what we like to call in this business a living legend. From his early days as a professional Halo player to making headlines for dying in his 5-year Minecraft hardcore world to a baby zombie, this YouTube and Twitch phenomenon is treasured on the internet and has always been a great source of wisdom to all. He was there with us on the DreamSMP, and he is one of the few that stayed grounded and survived its unforgiving wrath. The internet dad, many call him, and today we'd like to wring dry a little more knowledge from the infinite tap, from the infinite tap that is Philip Watson. Hello, Phil.
Not the full government name.
Hello, philza Minecraft.
Nice little docs right at the end there.
I found that on Wikipedia this morning.
Oh, yeah, it's public information, but I just never get full government named by my friends.
There you are, Philip Watson. Welcome.
How you got? Was that awesome?
I liked that. There was a couple of slight thematic issues, such as wringing dry an infinite
wringing
tap.
dry the infinite tap.
An infinite tap can't go dry.
Well, this is. I know.
Well, you don't wring a tap.
Initially, I wrote "suck dry," and then you can see how I got to ring.
You probably shouldn't suck Phil dry.
Glad you didn't go with that one.
Phil, it's an honour to have you here.
Welcome.
You came all the way down on the train from Newcastle.
6 hours.
And you're going all the way back up after this.
6 hours again.
I mean, that is fucking dedication to be on this though. I'll just be honest with you.
That was a bit harsh.
I mean, you're not really filling me with confidence. I thought this was an established podcast, you know?
Very firm. 10th episode. No, 9th episode. 9th episode.
9th, baby.
9th. Can't count. 9th episode this. There you are.
Second guess.
Second guess ever.
And it's a fucking honour to have you here, Phil.
Oh, we're just stepping it up and up and up.
It is. You are fucking low.
You are the bottom of the ladder, Jack.
You're the bottom of the barrel.
We picked you first.
He seems lovely.
He is amazing.
He's all right. He complains a lot about a lot.
He does love complaining, but we love him for that.
Now, Phil, I don't know if you've seen this podcast before.
I have.
But we have segments.
My God.
Segments.
You keep saying segments. Why does he keep doing it?
He just has to mention that it's a segment every week.
He can't just naturally roll into
on
it.
our guest episodes, which actually is a slightly different, ever so slightly different format, because me and Jack don't go through our worst moments of the week. We ask you, Phil, what your worst moment of the week?
Oh, we're bringing that back.
Come on, man.
Are we bringing that back?
The kids have been asking for it. The
Have
kids
they?
at home.
Have the kids been
I mean,
asking?
reading what they're saying. They're mean.
Oh, let's think. Well,
So, Phil, what was your worst moment of the week?
I had a little bit.
Yeah.
well,
Go on, Phil.
funny enough, I don't have like a lot to complain about, you know, like being a YouTuber and a streamer, mostly a streamer. Like, there's really not that much that can piss me off. But
Yeah, now you've appealed to the woke left.
We get it, yeah.
Check your
But-
privilege and such. Let's get on with it.
We get it. You're grounded.
I've gotten into a bit of a tiff with my neighbor recently.
Oh.
What?
Yeah.
What's happened?
So one of my neighbors, obviously I'm not going to say which one, but one of them, there's a bunch of them around me, you know, how houses work.
Familiar.
Really doesn't like me for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, like back in March, I caught him like throwing some rubbish in my bin.
Oh.
And I was like, that's a bit weird. And I just saved the video, as you do. I
You
was just
filmed
like,
him?
Oh.
Ring doorbell.
Oh, you caught him on
yeah,
the doorbell.
okay.
That's reasonable.
So I
No, that's
caught him in the act. And I was like, that's weird. I'll not say anything because it's just whatever. It's
'Cause
one
we're
time.
British
And he did it again,
Okay.
like
But
fairly
he has
recently.
bins.
He has bins.
Does he have bins?
He has. Here's the thing.
You don't know in
I assume
Newcastle.
he's filling up his bins first.
Oh, sure.
There's
okay.
like 8 other bins he could have chose, but he chose mine, which is really weird. So that was the first thing that just threw me off. But then the second time that he did it, he went twice at it. He took full big loads, like
Oh, like
two
full
big.
bin bags.
Yeah, and the pizza box, and like got in a taxi and went on holiday. And I was like, this
so what are you doing now?
Well, so I kind of took his bin to his door and rang the doorbell, knowing he was on holiday, and left him a lovely little message. And
what was the message?
It's basically just, in the most polite way possible, stop putting fucking shit in my bin. I've literally caught you twice, you dickhead. And there's in the middle of the message.
It was almost the most Geordie you've ever sounded. Fucking caught you twice.
Can you imagine opening your Ring doorbell app, trying to white
like
fish eye, philza Minecraft, going, get your fucking bins out my fucking...
It was just, it's so odd because I've been nothing but nice to this person.
Sure.
And he's just like being a dick for no reason. And then as I'm leaving that message, his missus picks up as they're on holiday somewhere. I don't know where they were. They might
like
have been
through
at
the
airport.
doorbell.
She's like, hiya, sorry, it won't happen again. And I was like, okay, cheers, see you later. Walk off. 1 week goes by. He's outside with his kids. He's got 2 kids, right? He's outside just like chilling with his kids. I feel like he's waiting for me and Kristen to go for a walk. And we come outside, and sure enough, he comes walking over, his hands in his pockets, giving it the whole fucking big man act, right?
With his kids there.
With his kids behind him. But like, I don't know if you know, if you've had many interactions with bullies, but a lot of them, when they're older, they tend to put their hands in their pockets and puff up their little chests.
Yeah, they're like
He's a
that.
bully. Okay, yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm towering over him when I'm looking at him. And I'm like,
Oh, he's a little guy.
and he's like about here.
Ooh.
And like,
It's probably
so-
about as tall as I am, but we'll move
It's
on.
fine, it's fine.
and he has the actual gall to bring it up and say he can do that. He's allowed. And I was like,
Oh, no.
no, you're not. You're not allowed. And he's like,
In front of his kids.
yeah, his kids are right there. It gets better, right? So I'm like,
Punt his kids. Dickhead, put rubbish in my bin. Bang! Roundhouse kick your daughter. That's what happens. Phil's a Minecraft.
so I'm like stood there in the street, just like talking with him. We're both, he's like getting a little bit more irate. I'm getting really irate because he's talking absolute shit.
Yeah, he's lying.
And I'm like, you're basically breaking the law. I don't know if you realize that. And he's like, no, I asked the bin man. He said it was fine. And I was like,
You went to the High Council of Bins.
I was like, dude. And then Kristen comes over and she's like, yeah, you're actually not allowed. Like, she gets in. She starts defending me. And then as we're like kind of like trying to just like diffuse the situation, like, you're not allowed to do that. Don't do it again. He's like, well, your life must be pretty sweet if you're worrying about bins. And I was like, what are you talking about? He starts trying to have a dig at me, and I'm positive I know where it stemmed from. He sees me and Kristen fucking just like hanging out, doing random shit. Like just the other day, we were just roller skating in the street in the middle of the day, and he has to go to work.
Bitter.
I think he genuinely really hates that we don't really do anything.
That would make me bitter. if I was like an unhappy man,
and that much rubbish that it fills up my whole bin before the
that much
collection.
rubbish, and I look outside to see this happy man roller skating around, I think he could have a bit more rubbish. I hate to say, I don't want to swap teams here. I'm not pro baby zombie, but like, I don't know.
Maybe he saw the BBC article. Maybe he knows what you do and he
No,
hates it.
I don't think so. I think he would have said something by now. But
He
like,
tried streaming Warzone once and he doesn't get why he couldn't take off.
You were like, and has anything happened since?
So I'll continue the story. So like,
oh my god,
There's more.
so he's
I thought it was a wrap.
so we're arguing in the street, and after he says that, I just blow my lid. I'm just like, right, I'm not talking yet. I'm walking away. See you later. We're not having this conversation. You're talking shit. Walk off. After about an hour of like me and Kristen like walking around, I'm like looking up the laws. I'm like looking at the footage, saving the footage, so I've got proof. I then end up contacting the council, and the funniest part about all this is that not only do I have the footage of him doing it multiple times, I also have the footage of our argument. And as we're walking away, I didn't see this as we're walking away, but one of his kids just starts fucking Fortnite dancing. Like, trying to like, I don't know what. It's like, yeah, he's like listening to the entire thing. He knows we were arguing, and he just Fortnite dances on us.
you
That's
got
classic.
literally emoted on.
I got emoted on.
You're
by, like, a
starting to
6-year-old.
lose this, Phil. Is this where you're at now?
No, there's more. So like,
Oh,
I call up the so whilst I'm out on this walk for like an hour, I'm like cooling down, you know, I'm not as angry and irate as I was because he's just a fucking idiot. The way I just think of it now is that he's a dumbass, he's misinformed, or he's a bully. Maybe both.
Yeah.
So after the walk, I cool off a bit and I'm like, Kristen, just go in, I'm just gonna go talk to him. So I walk up to his house, ring the doorbell again, and he sees me, he's like he does this face, he's like, oh, like that. And I talk to him again, I'm like, listen, I just want to apologize. I got out of line a little bit. I just want to reiterate, though, what you're doing is illegal. I have looked it up. It's called fly tipping. You can be charged £500. If you catch you doing it again, I'm going to report to the council. And he was like, but I'm allowed to do it. I was like, you're not. It's against the law. I will report you to the council. And then I just walked off. I was like, that's the end of it. I don't want to talk about you anymore. I don't want to talk anything about it. We're done. Walk off. And I called up the council lady because there's literally like, I don't know if you know, but there's literal dedicated like people that are just for this situation.
Trust me, I know about the fly tipping charges.
Dude. I
know.
Called up the council and they put me through to a specialist that deals with it. I think they're called wardens. And I was like, holy shit.
Warden.
And she was like taking all my notes. I sent her all the footage. She was like, I can go down there right now if you want. I was like, what? I was like, oh my God. She was like, I can go down there and have a talk with them and maybe slap a fine on them. I was like, holy shit. Okay, no, don't. It's fine.
Minimum fine for that's £400.
I didn't want to escalate it, but like, dude, she loved her job so much. She was like,
oh my God.
I was telling the story and I was like, why do people do this? And she's like, oh, you'll never believe what some people do.
Jack got charged for fly tipping.
I did. £400.
Oh!
Got hit £400.
It's probably this woman.
No.
Different councils, different people.
Back at my old house, there was. You know how Brighton works. You don't get your own bin. There's just sort of big communal bins for your area.
Bin, yeah.
And the two bins were like way up the street, and I like hadn't really clocked this. And there was where I used to live back. There was a bunch of backs of like restaurants, and they had all their bins. And I didn't really clock that this was a private bin. I was just throwing my rubbish in it. And one day it was like it was either full or maybe they'd locked it, and I still, as an idiot, didn't clock that. That probably means I can't use it. So what I did is, and I wasn't the only person who'd done this. Like there was bags just sort of around the bin. Because when the collection people come, they pick up the ones that are next to the bin because the bin's full.
Oh, really?
So I put
That's not a thing where I'm from. That's crazy.
Well, I think in Brighton we have a sort of lack of bins, so people are quite used to.
It's not the bin boxes that everyone else.
Yeah. So I sort of put like a bin bag next to the bin. But what I didn't do, and I did this on every package I ripped my name and address off of, bar one.
No.
And the guy comes and he knocks on my door and he's like, he just has a picture, he goes, this yours? I'm like,
He's went through your trash.
He went through my rubbish, knocked on my door, and I've learned a bit about these wardens online because they will try and hit people with charges for like bullshit. Like you like drop like a little bit of litter or drop out your pocket, and they'll try and fine you like 150 quid for like littering. You're like, I'll just pick it up.
You're on the wrong side of history, Phil.
Nah, man, this warden loved me. She was wicked.
But look, this guy's doing it with malice. I was trying to put my rubbish out. That's what I'm doing. And then like a bit of litter. Like apparently, even if a bit of litter drops out your pocket, these guys will try and charge you. And I got told, look, legally you're supposed to give them your name and address, but they're not the police, and they can't like arrest you.
I've seen those videos.
In it, yes. You just go, I'm not giving you that, and walk away. And legally, they're not allowed to follow you into a private residence, so they just have to leave you alone.
Yep.
So I was like, great, I know the technique. Eleanor said he was at the door. I'm like, I know the strat. I got to the door. I went, don't give him my name and address. Fuck all he can do. Admittedly, he's already at the door. So
he's already got it, and he's literally got you.
So I knock, and he shows me my name and address on the thing. I go, right, that's the one rule, and I've broken it. So then he goes, yeah, it'll be a £400 fine. I then made it worse for myself because I went, fuck off!
Oh.
Not try, and then I immediately realised I was on body cam saying fuck off to the guy. I went, not really at you, I'm sorry, I'm just shocked.
It's a situation.
You're two angry boys.
So anyway, I emailed the council. I was like, I shouldn't probably say this. So the whole bin bag was mine, but all they had evidence for was that this one little plastic bag was mine.
You tried to weasel out of it.
So I emailed them. I'm like, look, like, that's just my bag. The bin bag was already there. I just put this little bit of rubbish in it. Surely this constitutes a littering fine instead of a fly tipping, because fly tipping is £400, littering's 150.
Yeah.
They didn't take it. Turns out the fixed penalty notices are not legally binding. It's actually basically just it's essentially a bribe. It's just like back in the ye olden times, it was just a bribe. The council like catch you and they're like, look, we could take you to the police, or you just pay us and we'll forget about it.
Oh my God.
And all of those like fines are essentially that. They're not legal, but it's basically a threat that says, we have this evidence, we're going to take you to court, pay us this and we'll make it go away. So when I said, can I have a lesser fine? Because it's not legal, they just go, no, we'll take you to court. So I just end up having to pay £400. So don't put your bins next to a bin. Definitely put, if the bin's full, you just gotta have to firm it, man.
Just make sure you don't have your name and address on it. Like,
so or just put your name and address off, and don't lie to them, and definitely don't admit it on a podcast.
This is the bin episode.
Sorry, I just didn't realise you
really got into your bins there.
The rubbish episode.
I just didn't realise you were gonna mention fly tipping because I have my experiences.
Phil, here's what you do, right? Next time this geezer comes over, right?
He's just not though.
If he
But,
does, here's what you do. You grab your hand, you grab him by the throat, and you put him up to a wall, and you go, "Now you listen to me, little man.
It's assault.
These are the same hands that fucking blew up the Manberg. And if you think I can't blow up your life as well, I fucking will.
Jesus Christ.
Never mess with you again."
I'm sure that'll go down
Trust me.
amazing.
I think
Do you know
all
how many
that- yeah, that all
bullies?
sounds
Do you
legally
know how many
sound.
bullies I've stopped by going, "If I can survive the exile arc, then I can survive this." A lot.
He's like still stuck there.
He hasn't moved on.
He has not moved. It's like his trauma he has to work
You should
through.
see the list of questions. But I've got one for you, Phil. I recently moved in with my girlfriend, as you know, and I know that you've lived with your wife for a long time, and I wanted advice because it's going great, by the way. But there's just sort of things I've noticed, like for example, in the past, when I say, for example, I didn't want to take the bins out because I was being lazy.
Bin episode.
Okay, so back to bins. But let's say I didn't want to take the
My
bins
bad,
out.
sorry.
I too live with Molly and have done for the past few months, so I'm a part of this.
You can be a
No.
part of this. Welcome in. It's not quite the same. 'cause
Yeah,
you also
yeah,
live with
yeah.
you live with Molly and your best mate Erin, which doesn't
in a little flat.
Yeah, it's not the same.
We're on our
it's not the
toes.
same.
It's worse.
But it's like if I don't want to take the bins out when I live by myself, I could just not and take them out later. But now what happens is I don't take them out because I want to play Xbox or something, and my girlfriend comes in and goes, "You didn't take the bins out like you said you would," and then she looks annoyed at me.
You're accountable.
And I have to go, oh, all right, and I have to pause what I'm doing and take the bins out. I don't like. I do like that there's someone there to hold me accountable because it means I get more done. But I also don't like it because sometimes I don't want to be accountable. I just want to be a boy.
Just want to be
Damn
a
it.
boy.
Are you,
Are you? Do you get to be
Phil,
a
are
boy
you
still, or is it
Are
gone
you
forever
still a
now?
boy?
Yeah, what?
Are you still a boy?
Dude.
Is it gone forever now? Am I no longer a boy?
Right. So, oh God, you all right?
I'm good.
Locked yourself with that mug. No, so like we have our own little jobs and stuff that we do, right?
We're starting that arc.
Kristen cooks most of the food. I'll sometimes cook my own food, but Kristen cooks most of the food. She's really good at it. Oh
She
my
is
God.
very good.
And then, how do you know? You've got,
She's cooked me a meal before when I was at yours.
we
Some
ordered
spaghetti.
takeout. Anyway,
No, she made me some spaghetti, I think. It was nice. She did.
warmed up spaghetti.
You could taste the love.
Anyway, so she'll do most of the cooking. I'll do the cleaning up. She'll take out the recycling. I'll take out the rubbish. All right, we kind of like do our own thing, and then we'll keep on top of it.
How did we end up with the rubbish, Phil? That's what I want to know. Because I didn't make. I don't know about you, but I wasn't actually consulted in the allocation of the chores. I just ended up with them.
Right. Maybe you should have a little talk about whether or not you can swap certain weeks if you really don't like it.
I don't actually mind it, Phil. It
In
I don't
my
give a
house,
shit
I don't
either,
do
like,
anything.
It smells a little bit. I don't like
Yeah.
taking out the cat litter. Oh, that one smells like poo. Mainly on account of the poo, but
I get Molly to do most of the stuff.
yeah, but currently this is the thing, right? And this is the difference, and this is why I didn't include you so much. What happened is your girlfriend moved in with you,
Yeah.
right?
So
But
she
you
should do
already had a
my
living
chores.
situation, and she just sort of came in as a temporary measure. When me and my girlfriend found a new house and both we're going in here.
Yeah.
So it's sort of, you have a sort of command and ownership that me and Phil lack.
Yeah. It's awesome.
No, it's not necessarily a good thing.
I love
Tommy.
command and ownership.
Relationships meant to be give and take, like 50-50, right? You can't just be like, you do everything for me.
I give a lot of time.
Notice how he left out love and attention and like just time.
I give a lot. Well, no, but the love comes natural. The time, that's where it's really. That's where
You got busy, got to really count
That's
all
right,
that stuff
so
in.
I got to
Okay.
record it on a video.
Well, you say it in that little mocking tone, Phil, but look where we are right now. You know.
Work.
Big day
I
today.
know. Do you know tomorrow? You won't even believe this. I've had to take the whole day off.
Poor you.
What, to spend time with Molly?
man.
It's her birthday.
Dude, is he actually complaining?
Well, no, I'm coming in from 11 till 2, but
Oh my God.
Don't even come in. That's not a day off.
I have things to do.
No.
No, but I'm still going to be there for her later. Also, I bought her some amazing. I bought her some amazing gifts. I just went around town with her and said, "You can have 5 things."
You are just-
Price limit at all? Or?
Oh, not with me.
Really?
Well,
Doesn't sound like you
obviously
at all.
not more than 30 quid per
Yeah,
thing,
there is.
But also,
So collective, you spent up to £150.
I I've spent £70 on some nice merchandise from Vue and her favourite animation YouTuber she likes. Can you believe that? 70 quid.
Well, so you didn't even go up to the maximum of 150, which you offered, which was
I think I've exceeded it probably.
Wait, and did you go in and buy it yourself or did you
I
just...
ordered it online, but it won't be here. so that's why I had to correct. I no, don't.
No, that's
Mate,
still,
you
that's still
actually-
good. Sorry, let's dial back. Sorry, we're not laughing
Laugh
at
it
you.
up,
We're laughing at the
boys.
situation. Good attempt. Good job.
Nice try.
I think he just.
No, because he's look at
Gentle
he's,
parenting, that's what that's called.
he's getting better. He's getting better. Like
If you got
I'm
to
getting
the,
to my
you're trying to move the
questions.
topic
Yeah,
on.
you
I
lot-
feel.
you
So
lot
you
pricks.
pulled out the episode notes.
You lot pricks, mate. Mate, enjoy living with your wives. Idiots.
It's great. It's a really. Do you know? It's very.
it's awesome.
How long have you been living with Kristen?
I mean, we started living like in 2020, and then she had to go back to America because of the visa thing, and then
remember,
came
yeah.
back again. So really, it's been like 4 years.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Does it get? Does it get? Was there ever a period? Because I'm really loving it right now. Does it get worse?
No,
Do you ever find
Oh,
every?
is it just this forever
it gets
now?
better.
Do you
Oh,
ever find every
mate,
day
gets
gets
better.
a little longer?
No, every day gets a little shorter, man.
Do you ever find that like?
Scares me. Time's fleeting.
Do you ever find that like, you just want to be alone?
Yeah, but like the house is big enough that I've still got my own office. I can take myself away for a bit if I need.
You can go for walks if you want.
Yeah, I can leave. I can go to your house.
You just want a bit of quiet. You never feel that. All right. Well, Phil, here's a question I've got for you.
Yeah.
And now this is a question I'm genuinely really interested in, unlike Jack's.
God, dude.
He didn't like my question because it didn't apply.
what is like? Well, here. So, you've been around for not like you know me.
You've
for
been
about,
around on Earth for a lot.
You've
longer
known
than us,
me
but
for about
also-
5 years, Phil. 5 years
Yeah.
ago, I was 15. You met me when I was a 15-year-old. You met Jack when he was 17.
Mhm.
Now, in all of that, you were. How old were you 5 years ago?
Math.
Still in your
29?
20s.
I was like 30 something,
30,
32,
20. How old are you
30.
now?
I'm like 30. Fuck, how old am I actually?
He's
God.
I thought you're only 33.
I'm
4?
30. Well, I was when you met me.
How
I'm
old are you
like- I'm
now?
like 36 now, I think. Or 37.
Fucking hell!
Yeah.
didn't know that.
I think I'm 37. Yeah. I was born in 88.
You're nearly 40.
Yeah, pushing it, aye?
Fuck me. When did that happen?
I guess we're 20 now.
Yeah, I know, but
5
still.
years has passed.
Yeah, but
dude.
I
So-
thought
and
you
this
were
is
like
my-
in your late 20s when we met. I didn't realize you were in your
No.
30s already.
No, so
And this is my question
Fuck
for you,
me.
Phil. You've known Jack since he was 17, me since I was 15. What were we like as kids, behind the scenes and on camera too? Because I feel like this year, and especially over the past few years, we've done lots of maturing. And now when we watch back those old videos, it's like, you know, it is literally like watching a little home movie of us being a kid. It isn't like
Yeah.
us now.
it's like mental.
But you were there. You were there behind the scenes. Like, what were we like as...
Your brain was formed when you met us. and ours-
you
My
were-
frontal lobe
ours
was
still
fully
hasn't
formed.
formed yet. I think
When
that's
met
what we're
you,
asking.
Phil, I hadn't had my first kiss. To put it...
Neither had I.
To put it into perspective, you have known, like, what was it? What you can remember because you're a,
Yeah, yeah.
What
so
were we like?
I don't remember much of Jack. I remember Jack. You've not changed much.
Wow.
You've gotten like a little bit more mature, but not. You've kind of just been the same. Like
I was an
same
old
sense
head.
of humor. Like yeah, you had an old head. Tom, on the other hand, man, were you nervous around anyone? Like
Really?
Yeah,
What was
yeah.
it like?
That's true.
You were very like. You were like, I could tell you were like, this every conversation I have with a new person is make or break. I must make a good impression. And you tried really, really hard to be funny, which was funny in itself.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore.
Like, it was funny watching you struggle to like.
Okay.
There's literally a stream you can watch. It was on SMP Earth, and I'm building a bridge, and like Techno's in the call, and Fitz
Oh,
in
that's
the
the
call.
YouTube rank one, isn't it?
I think this is it the one where me and him met? Because me and him met
Probably.
on
We met
one
on
of your
your stream
streams
for the
Really?
first
for the first time ever.
Oh my god,
We
maybe
met on a philza
It
stream.
might have been that.
Because I mock him for like asking me if I had YouTube rank. I'm like, what the fuck is that? That's
And
what
I got, like,
and
really
I call it
irate.
cringe, and you and Techno like fucking piss yourself, and he's like, he just can't comprehend how anyone could find that funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was our meeting.
Wow.
Can't believe you brought that up. We watched it again recently.
I was like, what, nervous to meet people?
Yeah.
Was that behind the scenes and publicly?
Yeah, kind of like it. Like if like me and Techno were in a call and you were there, you were just like, "Oh, guys, hi, how's it going?
Oh, that's funny.
we're gonna play. What are you doing? What are you doing next?" Like you'd just be asking us loads of questions like really quickly, and just
Really?
yeah, and you just be kind of like nervous, but like
What was that like? Because like, that must have been irritating though.
nah. No, it was kind of wholesome. It was like, oh, he really looks up to Techno. That's fun. It's like we were just kind of like protected of you in a
How
way.
old was Techno?
God, I don't know. man.
18, 19?
Yeah.
I genuinely can't. Like, time was a blur to me. I barely remember my own age.
Yeah, he would have been 20 or 19.
Maybe
yeah.
20, 19,
Our age.
20. Yeah, 19, 20. Well, no, younger than me.
Yeah.
Your
My
age.
age. What? Yeah. So what was I like then over those years? I guess because it's so fascinating to me. Because I was like,
Yeah,
what
you
else
just,
was I like behind the
you got
scenes?
more confident. Like
Yeah.
you were very sort of like nervous for a while, and then you got more confident, more boisterous, more louder. Like your
Because to me, it was
jokes were
by the
louder.
DreamSMP. I was like, that was when I was loud.
Yeah, that's when you took it up a notch. You were already like that, kind of. Like
Yeah.
you took a lot
That's
of
when I was
inspiration.
really in my
You
own skin.
you found your stride with it though. I think
Yeah.
you were always very confident that you found yourself funny, but I think once you started realizing other people found you funny,
That
you
was
got
awesome.
way more confident.
Yeah.
I think that was the moment.
You
fucking-
can really see it in my tweets as well when they start
Yeah,
being a lot
the
more.
like flip. You really develop your own style.
Oh wow!
Yeah, no, I remember it was like the main streams you tried to mimic was like Schlatt's, and it was like a mixture of Schlatt and Ludwig.
Ludwig, especially,
Yeah.
And like
early
you would
days.
start off your streams with like boys, like
It was like
lads.
that.
You had the whole green screen, like it was.
Yeah,
it was
everything.
You're sort of like I watch those early streams like occasionally, not like often, but like when I see
Yeah.
clips of them, I'm like, fuck me,
I
forget.
was good at copying.
It was Ludwig through and through.
Yeah.
It was like
Because even
very-
now, still to this point, there, when I open my stream, I just like go, boys. What? And it's like it just comes back to me that like
Yeah, it's like your way of
15-year-old.
like kicking off the stream. You like
yeah,
wait for the
welcome
drop
back.
in the
I ne-
music.
I never speak like that ever. Like in what world would I go? Welcome back to the stream. It's like I'm doing a fucking like impression.
It's like Matt Pat saying like game theory.
Yeah, it's like
it's
the
like he
Beetlejuice.
has to say it that way. There's
Yeah.
no other way he can say it.
It's like because you treat it like a performance in a way, right? It's like you're
I think so,
starting off your
yeah.
performance of a stream.
You do streams a lot differently to I think a lot of, especially me and Phil, especially me now.
yeah.
But like I know I think well, I'm speaking for you a bit here,
Mm.
but like it's pretty normal. Like I'm sort of myself for the most part now.
Yeah,
nowadays.
I do my usual like intro where I like scream what day it is, and then
Yeah.
that's about the only thing I've kept the same.
Really?
Everything
I
else,
can't
yeah.
like shake that though. Like, but I guess I don't. I stream once a month, so it makes sense. But like, for me, that energy's just now gone into performing. It's not even like that stayed sort of consistent for me. It's just not on Twitch anymore. But I just can't. This is probably the most mellow I can get.
On camera, I think it is.
Yeah,
I think
podcast you is like super mellow.
This is like
it's
yeah.
about as like mellow as you are in real life.
Yeah.
Pretty much dead on.
Oh.
Because I think when you stressed in the question, you said, what was the difference, like on camera and off camera? I think back in the day, you were like,
What was I like off camera? Because I can see what I'm like on camera.
You
but-
were similar, but just not as like energetic because you were coming
Yeah.
down from the stream, right? You had the stream, you were like energetic, you were like
Yeah.
loud, and then you came down, but you were still like nervous, still trying.
we
to
talk
make
about
jokes.
YouTube a lot, wouldn't we? I remember
Yeah.
I was pretty into YouTube.
Yeah, you wanted to like know, and
Pretty
I was
into.
just like, I gave you.
fucking, that was a real really undersold that.
Very
it was,
obsessed.
It was
Yeah, like
literally,
incredibly obsessed.
literally his life. Like
Yeah, like
How much would I talk about it in calls?
a good amount. It got to the point where like we told you to shut up. Like,
It's like the only
like,
thing
just-
I remember being able to like connect with Techno on. Like we could talk about end screens for ages. Then you'd be like, "How are you?" And he'd go, "Yeah." And you'd be like, "Well,
Yeah.
okay."
he was close.
And what's your end screen click through rate? Well, it was like, oh man,
That's a good point.
that's very interesting to hear, man. Well, so going from that, you know, so I guess that was what I was like when I was 15, 16. I got a bit older, and then this is something that I'm really quite interested in. What was it like partaking in the DreamSMP as an adult, and what was all of that sort of online culture like with the stands and the fandom and the sort of super intensiveness of it?
I kind of like looked away from it a lot of the time. Like
Yeah?
it was so intense. Like I would look at you know what was being said about my friends and stuff and just be like, oh, like Jesus Christ. Like, but everyone was like, especially during like the peak, everyone was stuck inside. COVID was just like
Yeah.
rotting
Yeah.
people's brains. Like everyone was just not being able to go outside, not being able to interact, stuck online on their little laptops or PCs, just watching streams 24/7.
Yeah, it became like their life.
Yeah,
Things felt
it-
way more serious to people because it was all they did.
Yeah, it literally became the most important thing they had going on.
I think
Also,
also
for me, as a kid, it was
Yeah.
like, I can't remember who was saying this to you the other day, but you know, when Eric first blew up the Manberg, I remember ending that stream and being like, I'm going to fucking remove him on Discord. He's pissed me off. Like, what a dickhead. And then someone was like, that was amazing content. I was like,
Yeah, it's roleplay.
oh, I was streaming that. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I think the thing that you had that I think we lacked, because you'd also been doing content like a little bit longer than us, was like perspective. Like the fact, because that was especially for me, you'd even had, I'd basically had no run up. I was like, I joined the DreamSMP, like, I'd been streaming for like a few months. And I think it was like, having the perspective of like, oh, this isn't how it usually is. Like COVID was so abnormal, and like that culture was so abnormal, and like it probably won't ever happen again.
Yeah.
And like, but to me, that was like all I'd ever known, and I thought that was just that's how it is. Like,
yeah.
And I think so I thought I couldn't turn a blind eye to it because that was it was my job, and like I think now it's all calmed down, and I've settled into what is regular content creation. I've been like, oh. Was really weird.
That was really weird.
Like it's not
yeah.
peculiar.
And what was that? Because we were 16. Like, I would have my parents sort of sheltering me from it and coaching me through it, and we'd have sort of each other. But what was that like as someone who's a fucking adult with a house and a wife? You know what I mean? Like,
I didn't have the
so
house
weird.
then. I kind of got it
But
like
sure,
after.
you know
But
what
yeah,
I
it was like during. It was like middle. But yeah, I know what you mean. It was definitely weird. It was definitely like extreme. Like the level of kind of like obsession was incredibly unhealthy, and I recognized it straight away. And I was like,
did you?
yeah,
Because we didn't clock. I don't think I clocked that. At least.
because I could just like stop my stream and then just go hang out with Kristen and just kind of like take my mind off stuff.
Sure, you had someone to
But then there was of course like Twitter at the time, which I was on a lot. Not anymore really.
No, even I was on it a lot, and I think I was one of the last wave to come off. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good idea.
But it was like incredibly toxic because of everyone taking it so seriously. Like it was literally life or death for a lot of people. Like I remember at one point you messaged me and you were like, Phil, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And you were just like, people are calling me slurs on Twitter. And I was like, what did you do?
Yeah.
And you had just like done something that people didn't like on the server. And I was like, ignore them.
Yeah.
You're fine. Jesus Christ. Like it's roleplay.
It's mad, isn't it?
Because so much of that's like blocked from my memory of just like a weird mush of time.
Yeah, there was a lot of crazy shit that happened. So
yeah, it's kind of mad that you could like receive death threats for doing something wrong in Minecraft.
And
Yeah.
what was
So that is a bit crazy to think about.
What was the actual being on the server as a Minecraft world like, and like that experience? Because for me, I sort of joined it when it was just these few people I didn't really know, so I always took the piss, and I sort of kept I didn't really ever have to stop taking the piss until it was like, whoa, this is the thing. Like really quite late on. Like what was it? Because you joined it a bit later on, and it had this sort of like magic about it. And this,
I joined during like Lemanberg being blown up for the
just
first
the end
time.
of that, yeah.
Oh, you joined the same time I did then?
Later than you, just a bit after.
Fucking
I think it
hell.
was like just after
Oh
you.
my
yeah.
God, oh.
And then yeah, I mean,
we're already on it. That's weird.
it was alright. Honestly, it was fine. I mean, I might as well have been on it because the amount of times that Tom and everyone kept raiding me.
So it was just a light server for you.
Yeah, it was just a server. Like I was just like, oh, here's an opportunity to play with my friends.
How many years did you stream prior to that?
God, I could check my. Actually, I think I know. It was like 2008 or 2009. I think I made my Twitch account.
Yeah.
Christ. And you stream
wow.
like consistently?
Well, I tried to. So like back then,
Okay.
it was kind of like my internet was so shit that all I could really do was upload videos to YouTube, and that would take like a whole day to upload one video.
Jeez.
And I tried like streaming in and out, and it would be really bad quality, like 240p, like 300 kilobits per second, just ass, just so ass. And then eventually, when I got broadband, that's when I started to kick it up a bit and started to do consistent streaming.
When else was that?
It was probably 2014, 2015.
So you'd done like a solid 6
You were on just in
years.
TV.
Yeah, it was a
years,
while.
man.
I'd been making content, like doing like hardcore stuff and Minecraft stuff for like over 10 years. Like roughly.
And when obviously the Baby Zombie incident was 2017,
17,
18?
It was 2019, the baby.
Wow, it's even later than I thought.
I remember it so well because that's when I quit my job. That's when and then it was just like I'd been like been with Kristen for like 3 years before that happened.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was just like I remember when it happened, Kristen like messaged me being like, you're on like, because once it started going viral, she was like, you're on iFunny, like fucking the little app that you could have, like you're being memed on by everyone.
Because you were on Justin TV, weren't you, before it was Twitch?
Yep.
Wow.
That was the wild, wild west back then. Jesus Christ. You could just go to the entertainment section and just see full on movies and TV shows playing 24/7.
Wow.
Yeah, Justin TV was.
Oh my God.
It was wild. But like, I literally watched Twitch become what it is today. Like, over the, like,
sort of goes into the next thing I want to ask about, which was how was the transition from working like at a shop to streaming? Because we found it hard, and we had, Jack's case months, me sort of years to adjust to it. You had like a month. You were like, how many views were you streaming to? Like, was it 10 or
10?
Yeah. And then to suddenly
hundreds.
And I don't think I've ever seen that like happen where a streamer's been on actual mainstream news since.
It was pretty nuts.
So tell us, what was that like? What was that like being? Again, I think a lot of this is like being an adult now because we can get it now in a way we really couldn't even a year ago. What was that like?
It was very like, I don't know, it was very weird having so many eyes suddenly just looking at me.
Yeah, sort of go.
Do you want to just? My mum watches this. Explain what happened.
Okay.
Just for anyone that doesn't know.
So, I played in a world for a long time, and if you died once, you had to delete the world. And I played in it so long that when I died in it, everyone looked and went, haha, that's funny. He died to a child. That's why it got so popular, I think, because it hit like the mainstream normie side of the internet, where they were like, somebody just died in a world they've been playing for 5 years. Oh yeah, what'd he die to? A baby. Like, it was just like so easily like shared.
Funny.
Like I had my uncle saying that the lads on the building site were joking about it.
Wow, really?
And that was like the moment when I was like, oh my God, I was on the news and it's literally everywhere. Yeah.
So
but the transition
how did it get picked up? Like what? Because it was everywhere. I mean, I literally remember reading it in school. I'd like, what was it like for you? Because you must have obviously seen it from ground zero.
Well, basically, so like, I'll start from the other question you asked first. So like the transition from retail to streaming, easy, because I was doing it already.
Yeah.
Every night, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I was streaming, no matter what, pretty much, unless I felt sick.
Yeah.
I was like ill.
Wow.
So I was working.
And what compelled you to do that? Just you loved it?
It's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like streaming was like felt like the natural step for me in making content because I was always like recording things and making videos and being like, look at this cool shit. But now I was doing it live and I had a chat. And they could be like, whoa, look at that cool shit.
Yeah, especially like Minecraft Let's Plays at that time as well were like heavily unedited. Like they were basically just live streams that you could watch whenever.
Yep, pretty much.
It felt like a very natural progression at that point.
Well, I mean, to be like an adult and do that 3 days a week, like did you have to stick to it quite discidlined? You know?
Yeah, I mean, I had it down. I was like I think it used to be like 7 or 8 p.m. I would start.
Yeah.
And because of my shifts at my job, it was like I would be on early shifts, 7 till 1 p.m. or 7 till 2 p.m. So I'd get back, have a rest, eat some food, then stream.
How long did you stream for?
Like 3 or 4 hours.
I was like, sure, you
5.
didn't have the energy, right? 5? Fucking, that's a...
It just depended what I was doing because I was playing in that season 2 hardcore world, right? The one that I died as a baby zombie. So I had like these big projects. I had to keep digging out massive areas and collecting loads of shit. So I'd just sit there listening to crazy DMCA music that you can't do now. I was listening to all sorts and just like having my chat, just like chatting about random shit.
Like miss what? I guess double-ended question. What was that like streaming with 10 viewers for? Because I think I did for about maybe a few months, and then it was 20, and then because I was, I am, and then I was always like, how can I? Okay, yeah. And then do you ever like miss having 10 viewers?
Honestly, it a little bit, but not as much because like it's my job now, right?
Sure.
So it's important to have people watching. But I did enjoy just the much more laid back. I feel like
a lot more labor.
There's no pressure.
No pressure. Literally just hit live. Sometimes I wouldn't look at chat for like 2 minutes and then be like, "Oops, sorry guys," because I was just like zoning out. But yeah, no, it's like I do miss it a little bit. But what's funny is since everything's calmed down from like COVID and everything, and like numbers are just kind of like decreased ever so slightly across the board. Things have chilled out to that point where I can look at chat and I can pick somebody out and talk about stuff.
Yeah. I've found that it's really nice. I've been finding it very refreshing,
and it's a lot more kind of like comfortable and relaxed. I'm not like watching just chat just go like it was in COVID with like 100,000 people watching.
Yeah, that was a bit mad, wasn't it? Like,
it was jarring. I had to turn off the view account because I was just like, I can't look at it. Like, I can barely keep up with chat. I don't want to have this number staring at me as well.
It's so weird to think about like how like incomprehensibly big that was. Because because it was again the first time I'd ever streamed. I thought it was the numbers people pulled. Like I thought it was Twitch. You know what I mean? And like now seeing it, having settled down, like oh my god, that was like incredible.
Like, to go from like 100,000 people.
But I think my peak average viewership was like 40k average.
Yeah.
And like now it's like 1,200.
Yeah.
And it's like that's still pretty decent across the, like if you look across Twitch right now, 1,200 is like fine.
Yeah.
But like to me, like 40k was I thought it was all right. I was never one of the, and in our group I wasn't the big guy. You know what I mean? Like I was
Yeah.
I was one of the sort of like
My average, I think I
middle
had
ground sort of
a
fellas.
month of like 300k average for it.
Yeah, innit? It's like, it's just ridiculous how like,
It is crazy.
Inflated it was because everyone was just inside.
yeah.
They
And
were
it's like,
doing their classes, but they were also watching streams.
did you get a bit of, I wonder if you got this. This is something I really had very badly after. Same for you. You were
Yeah,
still streaming
yeah.
a little bit after the thing. Like, did it worry you when the viewership started going down? Because I
No.
shit myself. I think it's because again, it was all I'd ever known. I was like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
And what
yeah.
the fuck?
It just
How do I
feels so
fix it?
personal.
I
It
think
felt so
that's-
personal. And even though I could see it was across the board, I still felt like
Yeah.
everyone was fucking up and I needed to be the one to figure out what we were doing wrong.
That's the thing. The thing with content is that it ebbs and flows, especially with like anything online media related, right? There's creators that I don't even watch anymore, but I still think fondly of.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Then there's like people that are just coming up out of nowhere, just coming up out of nowhere and getting really big viewers, and I just think to myself, try and keep hold of some of your money, please. Like, don't just dump it all into one thing.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I did that. I was like very careful, right? So that's why I wasn't worried. And since I started at 10 viewers,
Sorry, just such a link to that thing. I was going to ask you about like, because you don't strike me as someone who has a particularly like lavish life. You know what I mean? Like, what have you just never been? Because I think all of us really are quite, but especially me and you.
Tom
Just a
sometimes thinks I'm
fucking-
expensive, but I think I'm reasonable.
Like, you know, quite.
I just moved house. I got to furnish it.
yeah,
Yeah, mate. He was about to buy a sports car. Anyway,
Yeah, but then I watched Parkour Civilization and taught myself out of it.
Oh my
And now I'm
God.
getting a more modest car.
okay, that makes sense. Safe car. You want to have a safe car that'll protect you in a crash, not just crumple into a million pieces.
Exactly, Phil.
Yeah.
Because Phil cares about my safety.
I care about your safety. You're fine.
No, you just wanted to mock me.
I did want to mock you out of doing it, and look where you are now. Not doing
It wasn't you though. It was Parkour Civilization shaped up. Thank you, Evbo.
Thank God.
So yeah, what have you just never really had the urge to go? Right, I'm gonna get a Lamborghini.
No, like I've got my house. I'm like comfortable. I've got Kristen live with me now. The only thing that I'm like worried about really or like for money wise is like future stuff with Kristen's visa
Yeah.
or like if we need to sell the house, if we get like doxed or something, you know,
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. But for the most part, I live quite basic. Like I don't really care
Yeah,
to
yeah.
have like lavish shit. And I think that's definitely because of my upbringing.
Yeah, because that's what I feel too. I remember in COVID one night, I ordered a Wagamama, and my mum was like, "Wagamama's a treat," and I was like, "I know, but I wanted it for dinner." She was like, "If you get it for dinner and not for a treat, then it will lose its specialness." I was like, "Yeah, but mum, I wanted a Wagamama." She's like, "Don't. You really shouldn't do that again under my household." I was like, "All right."
Yeah, I
And
feel
now
like
I'm like, "Oh, you know what? She was fully right as well." It pissed me off so much at the time. I was like, "Let me order my Wagamama." Once I found out about Deliveroo, I was so happy, and I had like a week of Wagamama, and then guess what? Stopped being a treat. She was so right.
yeah, she's very grounded, your mum.
She's a very grounding individual.
Yeah. I think that's what you need, really. You need to be grounded and just
Yeah.
understand that,
Yeah,
like,
Jack.
I'm very grounded, man.
I think the main thing to understand is to, what's the word again? It might be a philosophy thing. I'm probably quoting it wrong, but it's like, you don't want to expand the box that you live in too much
Yeah.
because if anything changes in your life, you're used to this big box and you're going to have to shrink it and it's going to feel weird and you're going to feel like inadequate and like, oh my God, I haven't saved, I haven't done this, But like, I live quite modestly. Like I have a decent sized house. It's not massive, but it's decent for me and Kristen. And like, you've seen it.
It's nice, lovely.
And yeah, we're very happy. So
Jack, I think we have just wrung some wisdom from the tap.
So much wrong with like, that analogy. It doesn't work. It was great wisdom. I
Sorry,
mean,
let
I'm
me
not-
say it how you want it. Jack, I think we have just sucked philza dry. That's what you wanted, mate.
That's not what I wanted at all.
literally-
I acknowledge that was much worse than the first option. I can't ask you this one, Phil. I can't.
Do you ever piss yourself?
I have when I laughed really hard.
But like a
about,
lot,
2
though.
years
Like a
ago.
lot.
No.
Like a lot. Like a few times a week.
No.
Do you ever have to shake so much at a urinal that it looks like you're jerking off, but you're not? You're just shaking hard.
Is this you talking about you?
No.
What's happening? What's happening with your pee-pee, Tom?
Don't call it that.
What's happening?
He pisses himself. He's had up until recently. He'd been pissing himself a lot, but then he was told by a doctor that
Too
you're
much water.
drinking too much water. Oh, you've seen the podcast.
He's had too much water, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have to monitor my water because I keep going back to drinking 9 a day.
9 what?
Waters.
9 waters.
What is 9 water? What volume of water is in each 9?
9 waters, 9 of these.
Oh, so 4.5 litres.
That was a bit aggressive.
So not a pint.
This is about a pint, mate.
It's just under a pint.
Yeah.
4.5 litres.
Well, I probably have more than this because my glasses at home are a bit bigger.
Are they pint glasses?
No, bigger.
They're bigger than pint.
Massive glasses at my house. You've seen them.
Oh, they are actually quite. They might actually be more than.
They are. They 100% are.
Yeah, just drink less water, mate. Like, chew some chewing gum. Do something else. Anything. Chewing gum might help.
Why don't you eat some watermelon?
Ooh, there's got water.
Watermelon is incredibly hydrating, but probably has less water content than a cup of water.
so-
Is it that you feel like actually thirsty, or is it just something
Stop
to do?
spinning this. You're pissing yourself. I know you are.
I'm not.
Come on, man.
No, I'm trying to get to the root cause of this. Are you thirsty, or are you just like, I'll just drink some water because it's something to do?
Usually it's when my throat hurts a bit because I talk all day, every day.
Right.
Maybe I
So
should talk
less.
less. No, yeah, but that is
Or
It's
do what
his
Jeff
job.
Goldblum does. He always has a throat lozenge on him.
Yeah.
really.
He goes, you want a throat lozenge?
That was awesome.
That's what he does.
Do
Maybe he does a little, He looks, you ever seen him make a noise?
Yeah, he does.
He loves making a noise. He's one of my favorite little characters.
Do a bit more.
You still move
I
stuff.
don't have. Yeah, the only other one I have off the top of my head is one time he was being interviewed about Spider-Man. It was at the time where we weren't sure whether Disney were going to lose the rights to Spider-Man to Sony, it was at the premiere of whatever the last Spider-Man film was before that, and they go, "How do you feel being here?" He's like, "Oh, it's great." And then they go like, how do you feel that we might lose the rights to Spider-Man?" He goes, "No." He just like panicked. He goes, "No, this is the first I've heard of it." And he just sounds so worried.
Great, Jeff Goldblum, man.
Thank you very much.
This is
I
the
do
first I've
try.
heard of it.
Jeff Goldblum is such an interesting
He's
guy.
a great character.
He reminds me of like a really shit magician. Like he's
That's
always
good.
about to do something, but he never does. Like, the trick is just his voice.
Oh, maybe I mystify you.
He is like a shit magician, isn't he?
He never does a trick.
He's great.
He's just talking.
He's just charismatic. He has the charisma of a magician and none of the skill. It's great. And the attire.
And
too.
the looks, yeah, he looks.
Yeah, he has the looks, doesn't
like a
he?
magician.
Looks like he's always going to pull a coin from behind your ear, but he never does
I
it.
got a coin.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. Oh, I got a coin.
Something like Markiplier.
I got milk.
Freddie, I have a coin. We're moving on from this. We're getting back.
Why doesn't it sound like that?
He goes, I really need a pint of milk.
Okay, that's
He
pretty.
loves milk, I hear.
It is milk.
Speaking of Markiplier,
Milk?
the internet,
Sorry.
milk. I had a question for you.
Speaking of milk, let's milk some more knowledge from you, Phil.
Oh,
that
see
was
what he
all right.
did?
That was decent.
That was not bad.
decent.
Let's
No,
pull the udders
nope.
of
No, you've lost it.
every time I go to
the
start the
udders of
question, you have a new
intelligence.
metaphor.
Sorry,
No.
All metaphor then?
udders of intelligence.
Mm.
Utterly intelligent. That's what Phil is. Anyway,
Brought it back.
my question is, the internet as a whole, you've been on it for longer than we have.
Mm.
A lot longer.
You've possibly been watching it longer than we have as well.
I
assume.
literally watched it start. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
Okay, now.
dude, I've got
And
some crazy
my-
stories.
My
Go
question
on.
for you is, I'm saying the internet, but I saw a more mean like video streaming, sort of like the stuff we do, like social media content.
Mm.
Where do you think it's headed? And are you optimistic about that or not? Maybe that'll come through in the answer, but I'm just curious.
It's
I'm guessing you're not based on that Jeff Goldblum noise.
Was that an interesting noise?
AI
Yeah.
terrifies me.
Really?
I genuinely think a lot of content is going to be so like difficult to see if it's real or not, or true, or like genuine, that people are just going to become disinterested in it, and there's going to be a big shift away to something else that's more real, like in life stuff, like
Theatre and
yeah,
shit.
stand-up.
yeah,
Sorry.
stand up,
Yes.
stuff
Getting out
that's
at the
just
right
like,
time, huh?
because it's going to get to the point, because we can literally see the progression of how it's improved from being really, really shit
Yeah,
to really
very
really
quickly.
good in such a short amount of time. And like I would say in about like 5 to 6 years, it's going to be like way too difficult to differentiate and like
quick.
detect if something is AI, and people are just going to naturally just shift away
I'm
from it.
hoping laws get involved. I think there's so many, especially in the States, there's so many unions,
Mm.
actors unions, and things like that. There's so much that is protecting things that I'm hoping that like because I think the loss of job. I know there's a lot of money to be made on social media, but I think the loss of jobs in more traditional industries and managers and sort of there's so many jobs that disappear that I think surely the law has to intervene at some point. I think already like YouTube makes you mark like videos as created by AI
Yeah,
and stuff.
but
I think
Instagram
surely
as well, but
Yeah.
there's got to be some like control over it. Otherwise,
So
if
you feeling
if it's uncontrolled, it's
pessimistic
It's gonna be-
about
yeah.
it.
if it's uncontrolled, I'm not.
Yeah,
feeling
if it's uncontrolled,
confident.
Besides
fucked.
AI, how do you feel about the future of, or is that sort of?
Yeah, let's say we fix AI. Say it's sorted. We put
Because
some
you've seen it
controls
for
in place,
so long,
whatever.
and you've watched it come.
Yeah, I mean, I would love for there to be a time in the future where you can just have like super fast broadband, like fiber optic speeds
Yeah.
anywhere in the world. But at that cost, we're also just putting more and more satellites and space junk into the fucking atmosphere, like above the Earth. And if you heard about this, by the way, there's an actual worry that we're going to be putting too many satellites and there's just going to be too much space junk around the Earth that we can't get out. Like we're not going to be able to send rockets up.
Oh,
Really?
I hadn't heard that.
We're just going to crash into it and it'll just fucking explode.
Oh, I'd not heard that at all.
Yeah, it's like an actual genuine worry
Well,
that we're
surely
going
we
to have
take
too
down the
much crap.
obsolete ones, right?
Yeah.
So surely
Well,
we
it's
can-
just up there. That's the thing.
Bye
Like,
bye,
collecting
BT.
it is going to be incredibly difficult.
I know it's difficult, but surely that's like the next thing then, right?
Hopefully.
Like collecting obsolete technology from space because we've got like loads of that shit out there.
There's so much shit up there already that's just like not being used and just kind of like
Yeah.
trash. But
Yeah.
it's so big. You have to remember how vast the Earth is, how
Yeah.
big the sky is,
Fucking
essentially,
hell.
right?
Well, let me spin this on you. Do you think the internet is a net good? Do you think it's good?
I think it's a net good. Yeah.
Yeah?
It's brought everyone closer together, good or bad.
So it's made everyone well sad.
It has made people well sad, but it's also made people well happy. Like it's genuinely
Phil wouldn't
had.
have his wife without the internet, though, would
True.
he?
That is true.
And neither, I wouldn't have my girlfriend either. to
I
be
wouldn't have
fair.
my girlfriend either.
Yeah.
Shit.
Tinder.
The internet has brought us women.
Well, that's exactly how I would have said love, but sure, you can phrase it that way if you'd like. I think the internet is a net positive.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of. Sometimes I think that, but then sometimes I do think I think how often people long for simple lives these days. I think, you know what, with the complication of life, we bought ourselves so many luxuries, but would we be happier?
But I'm just going to say,
Because we never know those luxuries if we didn't have them, and would we be happier with the
I bet if
smaller
you had a
lives we could have
simple
lived?
life, you'd much rather know everything. I bet you were longing to know everything.
You would long, yeah.
Or
but
if you didn't
Well,
fit in your like I didn't fit in. I mean,
move away, people do that.
I grew up
No, but you
without
don't
the
know
internet
about
though,
all
so
the-
like I can literally say that it's better with
what was
the
it
internet.
like without the
Sure,
internet? What was
okay,
it
you
like?
actually had that perspective. That's a
Like-
very good point, Phil.
It was generally better, but like I still like loved that I got to not have be
What
chronically
was
online.
that like? Like really, I've never not had it.
Well, I would wake up, I would ring my friend, like on the weekend, I'd ring my friend on my landline telephone
Mm-hmm.
and like ask them, do you want to hang out? If they want to hang out, I'd get on my bike, ride to their house, hang out, maybe go on a bike ride together. Like it was just a case of
I grew
just
up with a lot of-
going around.
I wasn't on the internet until I was a bit older. Like I sort of stayed off of it. Which was nice.
really on it.
Yeah, no, I wasn't on it until I was like properly on it until I was like 12. So I had like the first like sort of 12 years of my life without it. And sort of maybe like 3 of those where I used to go out a lot
Do you
and
know
just like
what's mad?
ride bikes and shit.
When we're like
Just kick a
90,
football.
there won't be a
Yeah.
generation that didn't have the internet.
Oh yeah.
That's
I mean, the generation of kids that grew up without the internet is long gone. There's no more children that grew up without the internet.
so. We were probably the last generation, really. We were the sort of
Yeah, we just like
I
Well,
remember.
'cause I
like,
think-
I remember my mum going from a BlackBerry to an iPhone. That's like, I know that's mad, but like that's probably the maddest one.
I
That
think
was before,
yeah.
if like she could Google everything.
I think maybe when the internet came out late 90s, if I'm correct.
It was
So I think
that,
it
yeah.
existed as infrastructure when we were kids. So
Yeah.
even we aren't of the right generation.
It was like around, but it wasn't like openly available to like the public.
Yeah, I think
And-
it started becoming available like when I was very young.
Yeah, and,
and
it was
then
just, it was just
got on
dial up. It was just like you had to
Yeah.
sit there and you had to make sure nobody was on the phone or nobody was going to call you before you connected to the internet. And then you'd have to sit there for like 30 seconds to a minute for it to connect. And then you'd be on and you wouldn't be able to call anyone. Nobody would be able to call you. And it was super slow.
And how was it like? You know, like fitting in a time when there wasn't the internet? Because I guess the best bit about it for me has been being able to meet, you know, my closest friends like you guys or Toby or someone who, I mean, I got really lucky growing up with Aaron and Freddie, who I always got on with. But I've seen so many, like Toby didn't really have that many people.
Yeah,
like
in person.
How was it like making pals?
I had like 2 friends, maybe 3 sometimes. Well, technically 4 when I went into secondary school, but everything before that, yeah, I got like picked on a lot when I was a kid. 'Cause I had
Really?
like, really blonde hair, like it was white. So I just never trusted kids. I just stayed home and played my Sega Mega Drive
Yeah.
and like just played Sonic or whatever.
How was that like?
Just escaped in video games
Yeah.
for the most part. Yeah, that was my internet. I just escaped into video games. But when I got a little bit older, like I made some friends. I had like just a handful of friends, and it was
Yeah.
very kind of like tight knit. Like we weren't just like, oh, let's we would plan stuff out, right? So one summer we pooled all our like pocket money together and bought walkie talkies. So we could like talk to each other from each other's houses and stuff. And
Oh,
like,
that's sick.
We'd go out like running around and be like, okay, it's clear. We'd, like run across the street and be like, there's somebody coming, hide in the bush. Like this stupid shit. And that was
Yeah.
like kind of like the most fun we'd had, I think, of like connecting. So that's the closest thing I can think of before the internet, right? You fast forward now, that's like a Discord call.
Yeah, true. Or like just phone calls as well. Like just most
Things
people
like
hanging out.
I think
Just hanging
less
out.
fun now.
Nah, I think there's just
Right.
more shit to do.
Yeah.
Right. Back then there wasn't as much stuff to do, so you kind of had to make do.
I think I
Like-
find that overwhelming though. Like the sort of like the unlimited choices you have today as to things you can do almost immobilize me. Almost like I don't know what to like. I find when I go back home.
I know you're not the only one that feels like that.
Yeah, no. It's like when I go back home, because I grew up in like sort of middle of nowhere, and like sort of the lack of options, I almost kind of like. I kind of like going like, okay, I have about 3 things I can do right now. Pick one of them.
Like unplug from like the crazy amount of choice.
Yeah, I find that really refreshing, and I think, yeah, as you said, I don't think I'm the only
I
person
get
that
it
feels
as
like
well.
that.
Like for me on Saturdays and Sundays now, my phone is off.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Yeah.
really good. Like I would say that kids nowadays have way too much choice. Although they are like a little bit better off to have access to all this information and like teach themselves about stuff, right? Because like back then, if you wanted to learn something, you had to go to when I was a kid, you had to go to the library.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to the fucking library.
yeah,
Right. But now it's like, oh, this like, if you want to learn something about anatomy or if you want to learn something about like some sort of technology, they could become like really well versed in it and then go into higher education just because they had access to it at a young age.
yeah. I think that's the thing.
So it's like,
I think the thing we have to worry about today is like less. Like, I think there's so few barriers to entry compared to what there were for basically anything. Like things are so accessible now. But like I think the thing we need to really focus on is discipline. Like before you didn't have, because things were like blocked off from you, so you didn't have to like, you know, not spend too much time on social media or like you didn't have the options. And I think that with endless possibility comes like endless possibility for doing shit things. And I think having discipline and like teaching people discipline is the thing that really, because that's what people like as adults. That's how like that's what we're talking about now. It's like, oh well, you turn your phone off at the weekends and shit. It's like just discipline is like so integral.
Yeah.
And I think up until now, it's sort of been very natural. Like people didn't need to be disciplined; they just didn't have the options.
Yeah.
Like now, everyone I feel like has to have a level of discipline to be happy, and that's like not been the way things have been for a very long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's weird. It's because everything's so like you have to self-discipline now in a way that you didn't. Used to have to.
Definitely.
I think there's a lot of onus on the self these days. And that's my little philosophy bit. I'm kind of like Plato. They'll put me on. They'll make me out. One day they shall sculpt me in
Phil,
marble.
What's the future looking like for you, man?
for me,
Yeah.
For Philza.
pretty
Or
chill.
for Philip.
Hopefully going to get my hardcore world up to like 10 years. It's on 5.5 at the minute.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You beating the old record?
Yeah, I've beaten it already. Back in
Ooh.
like May. Well,
Oh,
Wow,
nice.
10
Congrats.
years. Fucking hell.
yeah. Well, I've gone like 5 years again, so I'm gonna. But other than that, maybe end up retiring, like getting a pet.
What do you want to do after you retire?
Just hang out with Kristen and go places. Like
Yeah,
it's like
travel.
all over. We're already kind of doing it now.
Is little
but, like,
baby Zara on the way?
Nah.
No. Yeah?
No, we're genuinely just not in the place to have kids at the minute. We're kind of because we have so much like time that we haven't had together. Like,
Sure,
if that makes
sure.
sense. So we're trying to make up for lost time and just do all these
No.
different
Oh, bless.
things.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
We don't have to have a kid to worry about yet.
No, that's very reasonable. I think everyone always wants to know with you because you are dadza. Like, you are the internet dad. So everyone is naturally, like, sort of trying to
I give shit advice though. I really do. Like,
great advice.
You're going to
about
great
this.
advice. You're going to... Ain't nobody fucking with my bins now.
That's true.
know exactly
I know,
what to do.
I know exactly what the law is about bins.
God. It was
Yeah.
so
Oh, well, that sounds lovely.
Yeah, it's super chill. Like I don't have any like crazy.
Like you're
lofty
living the
goals.
dream, man.
Man, the future of philza sounds nice. But you know what I want to know the future of? This here worm. How's the worm doing? How is he? Phil, you want to check? You can give us the worm review
Yeah,
today.
go
There's
on.
the worm.
All right.
Yeah, have a little look for
Where
him.
is
There's a
he?
few of them in there.
Are
Have a
you
little
sure
tell us how
are
he's
you sure
doing.
they're still? Oh, there he is.
How's he doing?
How's he doing?
He's not moving.
Give him a tap.
Very
he's-
rarely they are.
Phil, don't tap on them. It's very rude.
He is not moving, but he's still viscous looking, so he's probably still alive.
Okay, well, weight and size is fine.
Yeah, he's not moldy. Oh, there's another one.
We've got
there's a
in
few.
there.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried they're not moving though. That is,
They don't know. We worried us the first few episodes, and then we found actually this segment was very poorly planned because worms do fuck all. And
I'm glad
they-
you like the worms, though. Jacksepticeye guy gave us a lot of shit about the worms.
Yeah, I'm glad you were kind to them.
Yeah,
Did he just not like them? Like he's just not a
he
fan
was just
of
like,
worms?
the worms.
You really
Sort
don't like
of.
how much he complained, do you?
I thought it was. I just thought. I'm just going to say this, Jack. It was incredibly rude.
Do you know when you see birds like tippy tapping on top of dirt?
Yeah,
They're trying to mimic
you
rain.
could tippy tap one. Well, I think.
They're trying to mimic rain to make the worms come up out of the ground. Because if
Well,
the
why would
worms
a
are down
worm
there,
come up for rain?
because they don't want to drown.
It's dirt, mate.
No, they'll drown.
Yeah, they'll drown because it'll seep into the water.
It's like dangerous
Sorry,
for them to
sleep
stay
into
down
the-
there when it's like
Well, they
really
drown
heavy
when they
rain.
swim. You know what I mean?
You know when you go out and it's been raining and you see
I do.
worms next to the grass? It's because they've fucking leapt out of the dirt. They're like, nah.
I've never seen that worm next to the grass.
Yeah, they're on the pavement.
I do see seagulls doing that shit, and I'm always fascinated.
That's true, actually. There's so many birds here that actually probably just get eat straight away.
I was trying to get him to come up, like Phil said, but it's
You
just
just
not
bothering
worked.
him. Let him.
No, it has to be
rest.
like actually on the dirt. You'd have to put your fingers in.
Oh, that sounds minging. Well, there's the worms. They're doing about the same as they always fucking are.
Stupid shit worms.
Phil, thank you for being here.
Phil, thank you for being here.
Yeah,
But
no
it's
worries.
not over yet.
Oh my
It's
God.
not over yet.
It's never over.
Did someone say Patreon?
Guys, for $7 a month, you get an extra episode every week.
You're gonna get an extra hour now, and we're gonna be probably less heartwarming.
Probably yes, but you
It's-
can
but it's
subscribe here to
strangely
get
heartwarming
next
for
week's
us.
free episode. So you know,
Yeah,
if you're poor,
and all of the
Um,
previous ones. Right.
so there's
Well,
I know how to get people to subscribe to the Patreon this episode.
okay.
I'll tell everyone in the episode the context behind that tweet I did.
oh, I don't know
Which one?
which tweet.
Imagine that one.
The extra context, that one. You know the one.
Are you on about the context of the? No.
Yeah.
The imagine.
Yeah.
The success.
Yeah,
of
the
future.
extra context, yeah.
Ooh,
You know the one.
I thought it was that one, but now I'm
the
excited.
tweet.
All right, well, let's.
The tweet of all time.
Now I want to hear it.
Mate,
Pop, pop,
okay,
pop,
Phil's
pop,
gonna
pop.
start some shit. Patreon.